This is the 3D VIEW-MASTER ABC television series, The Rookies. VIEW-MASTER Reel 1. Picture 1. Dateline, Los Angeles. A three-man team of burglars broke into a well-to-do, deserted home on Latimer Drive. How did they know the house was deserted? They read the funeral notices in the daily news, picked an address, picked the locks, picked up the household goods while the family attended a funeral. Picture 2. It might have worked too, but some alert neighbors next door saw the whole episode, realized something was wrong, called the Rookies. Lieutenant Riker and Mike Danko drove up in their black and white at exactly the right moment, by the book. They scrambled out of Ludlow 7 and covered the house. Riker stayed in front. Mike ran for the backyard. The lieutenant had done it 100 times. Picture 3. Standard Operation 4, a possible 459 in progress. But things don't always work according to plan. Two of the robbers fled down the back alley before Mike arrived. But the rookies' quick action made the crooks drop the goods they'd stolen. Picture 4. While Mike sprinted after the robbers, Riker turned to the black and white, radioed for help. A third man bolted from the house. Riker pulled out his service revolver, drawing a bait on him. "Police! Hold it there!" The third robber brought out his own gun, snapped a quick shot that went wild, and rushed down the street. Riker was about to return the shot when Ludlow 9 slammed around the corner directly in the line of fire. Picture 5. And right in the gunman's path. The suspect was caught in the middle. "Drop it, mister," Riker ordered. Chris scooped up the fallen gun and handcuffed his prisoner. At once, Riker was attacked by an angry, kicking, cop-hating 10-year-old. "Leave him alone! You turn my dad loose!" Riker stared at the gunman. "This boy is your son? So what?" The suspect scowled. Riker winced in disgust. "Read him his rights in the car." Picture 6. Soon a breathless Danko returned to the scene. "The others got away, Lieutenant." Riker nodded solemnly, then turning reached for the shoulders of his 10-year-old attacker. "What's your name, son?" "It's Jody, so what, cop?" "And listen, get this straight. I'm not your son, okay?" Riker's voice tightened. "But the kid in the car, he's going downtown too." Picture 7. At headquarters, Riker offered the boy a seat. Jody defiantly remained standing. "Your father broke the law. He'll be in custody for several years." If Riker was going to help Jody, he knew that he had to level. "Unless you can give me the name of a relative, an aunt or an uncle, who can take care of you, I'm required to turn you over to the juvenile court. You'll be put in a foster home. I haven't got anyone but my father," the boy said. Change to Reel 2. Picture 1. Riker looked away. "Mike, take him down to juvenile court." Reluctantly, Mike and Jody walked into the hall. Suddenly, a murder suspect broke loose. Mike rushed to help capture him. This was the chance. Jody needed to escape while the cops were busy. Picture 2. Jody slept that night on a park bench. Next morning he was hungry as a bear. And just like bears in the national park, Jody would have to scrounge for his food. He didn't have any money. The first time he tried stealing food, he was caught. The lady who operated the sandwich truck gave him a good scolding while they waited for the police to arrive. Picture 3. Later that day, Jody was sent to Lambert Hall, a center for juvenile offenders. Riker continued to take an interest in Jody because his own parents had been killed when he was a boy. He himself had grown up in an orphanage. That afternoon the lieutenant spoke to Miss Weaver, the hall's social worker, about Jody. Picture 4. Meanwhile, Jody's father was talking with his lawyer. "Look, counselor, I've got this friend. See? Call and give him the place and time of my parole board hearing." Later, the attorney made the call, never realizing it would lead to an ambush and escape. Picture 5. "Hey, Jody, let's play baseball," shouted Lieutenant Riker. He'd noticed that Jody had a big collection of bubblegum baseball cards. "By the way, Jody," said Riker, handing him a small object, "here's a present, a real big leech baseball. Mikey Mantle signed it for me years ago, but I want you to have it." Picture 6. Later, Lieutenant Riker convinced Miss Weaver to let Jody see his father. "I hear they stuck out you in some creepy place," Jody's father said. "Pretty tough, huh?" "Well, I hated it at first, Pop, but I think it's neat now. Miss Weaver and Lieutenant Riker are trying to find me a foster home." "Riker, has that cop been messing around with your head?" he sputtered. "Don't blame Lieutenant Riker for your troubles," Jody said. "You robbed that house, not him. Why you—" The father slapped Jody. Picture 7. Jody burst from the room in tears. Back at Lambert Hall, the boy ran straight for Riker. "Will you adopt me?" he asked the lieutenant. "I'd have a real home." Riker shook his head. "I couldn't give you a real home, Jody. I live alone." Change to real C. Picture 1. The escape worked. From the lawyer's phone call, the robbers plotted the route the police would take to the parole board. They ambushed the squad car that carried Jody's father to the hearing. Results: 2 officers critically wounded. Picture 2. Jody's father and his pals drove directly to Lambert Hall. Miss Weaver started as the gunman crashed her office. "Lady, you got a call to make," one of the criminals threatened. "Phone the lieutenant. Tell him Jody wants to see him and tell him it's important." Picture 3. The tone of Miss Weaver's voice told Riker that something was wrong. But despite that, he hurried to Lambert Hall alone. As he entered the building, a pistol butt flashed in back of the door. It struck the lieutenant behind the ear. Riker fell heavily to the floor. Soon, the lieutenant and Jody were taken to the criminal's hideout. Meanwhile, back at the station, the rookies learned of the ambush. Chris and Mike got hold of the lawyer who made the phone call for Jody's father. Terry traced the phone number. The rookies had the address of the hideout. "Let's go!" They jumped into their black and whites and sped to the scene. Picture 4. Inside the hideout, Jody was shocked to find his father planned a run for the border, using Riker as a hostage. "You've got to let him go, Dad," Jody pleaded. "He's right," Riker nodded. "You haven't got a chance." Struggling inside himself, Jody's father unlocked Riker's cuffs. Picture 5. One of the robbers panicked by the arrival of the rookies, stumbled into the room. Seeing that Riker had been freed, he raised his gun and fired point blank. Jody's father, shot in the chest, crumbled slowly to the floor. Riker grabbed for a loose gun and covered the hoodlum. Picture 6. The rookies burst into the bedroom. The other crook had been captured. Jody rushed to his father's side. "I've been a yinch, kid," his father told him. "Do what the lieutenant says. Get some nice folks to be your parents. I tried to love you, but I never knew how." The man closed his eyes. Jody sobbed and Riker picked the boy up in his arms. Mike shook his head. Picture 7. "Your father's gone now, Jody," Riker said, "but he did the right thing at the last. Always remember him that way." Though, as it was, Jody's story had a happy ending. Miss Weaver and Lieutenant Riker found a wonderful pair of foster parents for him. The rookies were Jody's friends, and the boy's new parents gave Jody a good home, making up for the love he had missed so completely for so long.